escalated sharply along the India-Pakistan border, with both nations now locked in the most serious military exchange in decades. Early this morning, India launched retaliatory strikes targeting at least 4 Pakistani air bases, including Noor Khan, Murid and Rafiki, in response to a wave of overnight drones and missile attacks by Pakistan across Punjab, Jammu and Kashmir. Explosions were heard in Srinagar and Pathankot, even as smoke was seen rising from Rajouri after fresh shelling. Network sources say Pakistan had launched coordinated drone attacks on 26 locations across India last night, including Khasa Cant in Amritsar. Now, the Indian Army confirms multiple hostile drones were intercepted and destroyed. The BSF also reported significant damage inflicted on Pakistan's Ranger posts in Jammu after unprovoked firing. Debris from drones and missiles has been removed in Punjab and Haryana, but India's S-400 missile defense systems remains untouched. Defense sources have squashed rumors about the damage as fake news. And while the constant shelling has disrupted civilian lives in border states, with properties damaged and civilians also on high alert, Times Network's correspondent has been on ground zero from day one. Let's go across to Tejshri Purandare for the latest on what's happening at the border.
Currently, we are reporting from Jammu's Rihari, where there is another cowardly attack by Pakistan, where Pakistan has targeted the civilian area. And in fact, in the visuals, we'll show you one by one that how this is another cowardly attempt by Pakistan, where they are targeting the civilian area. This, from where we are reporting, has never ever happened over here in Jammu, because this is the main area, the city area. We have been seeing such kind of damages in the areas like Poonch, in Rajouri, because they are close to LOC. Those are the last villages. We have seen such kind of damages in Arnia sector as well, because that's the international border, because that village is at the international border. But what about this particular area? This is the Jammu area. This is Rihari, which is in the heart of the city. So now Pakistan is entering here in the heart of the city and targeting the civilians over here. What we are being told is that there was an explosion heard at around 4 a.m. and then then there was this explosion, and then there was this damage over here that you can see in your visuals. Not the Jammu and Kashmir police has reached over here. The civil defense volunteers are also over here. People have been asked to vacate their places. This is the entire house. That's the another house. So in all, total 3 to 4 houses have been damaged. 3 to 4 cars have also been damaged. And due to this, you can also, in fact, get to know the intensity as well, that what is the intensity of this entire damage. That is why you can see that the Jammu Kashmir police is over here to monitor this entire situation and to get to know so as to how this damage must have happened. But what we are getting to know, that there was a projectile that was hit over here, and yes, there were multiple sirens that were heard entire night. We'll also, in fact, speak to the people over here who have been staying over here since long. 2 individuals have been injured in this entire, damage that has taken place over here. These are very disturbing visuals and very shocking visuals, because people say that this has never ever happened for the first time. Ma'am, आपको भी इंजरी हुई थी यहाँ पर? आप ये वाले घर में रहती हैं? हाँ, यहाँ पे रहती है। आपके हस्बैंड को भी इंजरी हुई? हाँ। मैम, क्या हुआ था? कितने बजे धमाका सुना और कैसे हुआ?
6:30 बजे हुआ।
सुबह 6:30 बजे हुआ था। कभी इस तरह का हमला पहले हुआ है?
नहीं, आज पहली बार देखा है हमने। ये भी पहली बार ही हुआ इधर।
कहाँ चोट लगी?
मेरे हस्बैंड को सिर पे इधर आगे लगी है, मेरे को इधर लगी है और इधर लगी है।
अभी क्या स्थिति है?
ठीक है, अभी क्या करना?
So now civilians have been asked to vacate this entire area, because definitely it is not safe for us also and for them also to stay over here. Sir, abhi kya sthiti? So these are the civil defense volunteers who have been asking us to vacate this area. Still we'll speak to the individuals who have been saying, sir, aap yahin pe rehte hain? And we'll also speak to another people, the civilians, the residents of this particular locality who have been staying over here since long. They will narrate so as to what has happened over here. Sir, यही रहते हैं आप?
यहाँ में हमारे यहाँ।
सर, कितनी बजे धमाका सुना?
तकरीबन 5:30 पौने 6 बजे हुआ है। धमाका बहुत जोर का था, और ये पूरा मकान जो डैमेज हो गया है, उसके साथ जितने भी आगे पीछे मकान है, सबको शरे लगे हुए हैं, और ये जितनी गाड़ियाँ हैं सारी डैमेज हो गई हैं।
Right. And missile debris were also found in agriculture fields in Sirsa in Haryana, Barmer in Rajasthan, Jalandhar in Punjab and Srinagar in Jammu, as Pakistan continued to launch swarms of drone and missile targeting military installations in multiple states along the border. Priyank is in Srinagar tracking the latest developments. Let's go across and find out what's the latest update.
We are at the ground zero where the fighter jets have crashed. This is the big breaking input which we are getting, that on this particular stretch of the highway from Srinagar towards Pampod, the smell of the fuel can be clearly sensed by me. Although there's a major development which has also happened, that in this Naugam area, there are parts of the missile which has also been found, because of which you can see behind me the security forces are there. If Yogesh can zoom in, there's a pink object which has been placed there, which has been covered with plastic by the local officials along with the CAPF, who have also cordon off this particular area. This is very important to be seen, because this is the first evidence of the Pakistani missile particles and part which have been found near Srinagar airport. This is very important. These are the exclusive visuals which our viewers are watching on the screen of Times Now, that the parts of the fighter jet particles has also been found, and there is a massive cordon search which is also being launched, because of what officials have been confirming, that there could be fighter pilots from the Pakistan army who could also be there, because there were multiple explosions which were heard in this location. We are on this particular stretch of the highway which goes from Srinagar towards Pulwama, Pampod, and in this Naugam area, they have been very serious development. Let's go back to the visuals, and I will show you that how this cordon search has been initiated by the Jammu and Kashmir police and the CAPF, because they fear that those pilots could be in this particular vicinity. So there will be a major combing and search operation. That pink color object, I would request Yogesh to come towards this side, because this is a highway which is this highway goes towards Jammu, and we are barely 2 to 3 kilometers if we talk about the aerial distance from the airport is concerned. So what my sources have told us, that particular piece of Yogesh, if you can zoom in, that pink color object which has been kept in this field is particles and part of the missile which was there on this fighter jet from the other side of the highway.
All right, moving on then. Foreign Secretary, Indian Army Colonel and Wing Commander held a press briefing to praise the country of India's operations against Pakistan's escalation. They said Pakistan fired high-speed missiles at an airbase in Punjab, damaging equipment at several Indian Air Force stations. India hit back with precision strikes on military targets. Wing Commander Vyomika Singh slammed Pakistan's malicious misinformation campaign, denying claims of S-400 damage. Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri also called Pakistan the provocator, insisting India's response was measured and responsible. Let's bring in my colleague Sumita Khari to dissect what MEA had said.
Absolutely. I'm coming to you live from the External Affairs Ministry headquarters right here in New Delhi. And just a short while back, the External Affairs Ministry held a joint briefing with the Ministry of along with the the MOD briefing as well. So there were a couple of key points that were brought out by the Foreign Secretary, and of course Colonel Sophia as well, who was also part of that briefing. Number one, that Pakistan is spreading a large-scale misinformation, disinformation campaign so far as these attacks on India are concerned. In fact, the Foreign Secretary specifically spoke about the fact that the claim about India's Air Force stations being hit is completely absurd. It's completely false. In fact, pictures were also shown with respect to, those Air Force stations and those facilities. The other point that was highlighted was the fact that, Pakistan is trying to sow communal discord, and it's trying to sort of, further this conflict by spreading misinformation, communal conflict. He also spoke about the fact that last night's Pakistan's misadventures should be read as escalation and provocation, and Indian armed forces reacted very responsibly and in a measured response. Remember, that's been the long-standing response, the long-standing stance of the Indian side of the MEA, that India will not be escalating. It's not going to escalate unless and until there is some sort of provocation, in which case it's going to give a befitting reply. The other point that was highlighted by Colonel Qureshi and of course the Foreign Secretary was the fact that Pakistan is moving to forward posts. Its troops are moving to forward posts, and India is seeing that as provocative. It is seeing that as escalatory in nature. Let's take a look at some other points that were made by by the Foreign Secretary. He stated that several high-speed missile attacks were done by Pakistan. In fact, India has defended. He also spoke about the fact that Pakistan claims that about activities that continue to be taken. He also, again, the larger focus of that briefing was on the fact that there is a malicious propaganda that's being spread by Pakistan's own agencies and no one else.
Right, Sumedha, thank you so much for joining us and giving us all those details. We'll get you on board again to get more updates. But let's go across and listen into what Vikram Misri, Foreign Secretary, had to say about Pakistan's claim about the attack on India.
First of all, as you have seen, Pakistani claims about activities that they have undertaken continue to be heavy on lies, misinformation and propaganda. And on top of that, this is peddled by Pakistani state agencies. The claims that they have made about attacking and destroying various places, various military installations and facilities, as has been pointed out by my colleagues here this morning, are completely false. The claim about the Air Force station in Sirsa being destroyed, completely false, as you've seen. The claim about the Air Force station in Suratgarh being destroyed, completely false again, as you have seen. There's a claim that has been made that the S-400 base at Adampur was destroyed, completely false once again. Claims have been made about large sections of Indian critical infrastructure, power systems, cyber systems, etc. being attacked and destroyed, completely false. I would urge all of you and all those who watch this not to be misled by this tissue of lies that is being peddled by the Pakistani state for obvious purposes.
Right, let's go across and listen into what Vyomika Singh, a wing commander, also had to say about the nature of Pakistan's attack and India's defense in response.
Pakistan employed UCAP, drones, long-range weapons, loitering munitions and fighter aircrafts to target civilian areas and military infrastructure. Pakistan military also resorted to air intrusions using drones and firing of heavy caliber weapons along the line of control. Along the international border and the line of controls, air intrusion and several harassment attacks were also attempted from Srinagar till Nalia at more than 26 locations. Indian Armed Forces successfully neutralized these threats and majority of the vectors. However, limited damage was sustained to equipment and personnel at Indian Air Force stations at Udhampur, Pathankot, Adampur and Bhuj.
The Defence Minister is expected to chair a high-level security meet once again with the tri-party services chiefs today, while the Home Minister takes stock of the internal security. My colleague Sumit Chaturvedi is now joining us with what's going on and what can we expect from the meeting.
A tense atmosphere between India and Pakistan, and India giving befitting reply to Pakistan of its misadventures. It's all that since morning today, a number of meetings have taken place between the heads of all three armed forces and Defence Minister and also NSA, Ajit Doval and Prime Minister Modi. Well, clearly India has taken a stand where it is a measured response. India is giving a response that is clearly something that it doesn't want things to escalate, but giving more than a befitting reply to Pakistan. Today also, well, in the morning, early morning and last night, it struck at some of the installations, military installations of Pakistan, because Pakistan was attacking Indian civilians. So on that, in the morning only today, the briefing happened from the side of chiefs of Navy, Army and also Air Force to Rajnath Singh. NSA Ajit Doval briefed PM Modi. So it's a collective effort of all the armed forces, NSA, CDS, in fact, Chauhan also met PM Modi. So they are taking stock of situation as it emerges. Only after that, the press conference happens from the side of Ministry of External Affairs. So India is clearly acting as a very mature country, very mature economy, a very mature democracy where, yes, it is going to defend all its rights, but without causing casualties to civilians of enemy. That's what it has done so far. And the meetings, well, they're expected to continue today and tomorrow as well.
Right, we will keep getting you updates on that. But moving on to the fact that the army has said that Pakistan's blatant escalation with drone strikes and other munitions continues along our western borders. In such incident today at approximately 5 a.m, multiple enemy armed drones were spotted flying over Khasa Cant in Amritsar. The hostile drones were instantly engaged and destroyed by air defense units. Pakistan's blatant attempt to violate India's sovereignty and endanger civilians is unacceptable. That's the word coming in now. But meanwhile, the IMF has cleared a $1 billion tranche for Pakistan under its extended fund facility and an additional $1.3 billion under the Resilience and Sustainability Facility. Now, India abstained from the vote, raising strong objections over Pakistan's poor track record with IMF programs. Prakash is joining us with the details of that.
The IMF Executive Board has approved additional financial support to Pakistan, and that will be done in 2 tranches. And the first tranche, additional financial support of $1 billion would be provided, which is part of a $7 billion bailout package which was approved by the IMF last year. And the second tranche, additional financial support of $1.4 billion has been approved by IMF, and that comes under climate financing. That's an important development coming in, and it comes amid heavy escalation by Pakistan at the international border, where it is targeting civilian areas and army establishment. Remember, Indian government through its representative at IMF has raised serious concerns considering Pakistan's poor track record and its involvement in terror financing, especially cross-border terrorism. Indian government has raised its concern and cautious IMF Executive Board to take a rethink on any such arrangements being made to Pakistan, as there is a high possibility that these funds would be misused against India in form of harboring terrorism. That's an important development coming in. Along with that is part of the government's all-out effort to grill Pakistan on the international forums, be it IMF, World Bank, ADB or other multilateral development bank. On the one hand, we are retaliating heavily against any of such misadventure by Pakistani army at the border. On the other hand, we are trying to grill Pakistan on the international forums.
Right, and moving on then, the finance minister has held a high-level meeting with the heads of public and private sector banks, insurance companies and financial regulators in light of the emerging security situation. Representatives from the RBI, IRDAI, NCPI and CERT-IN were also present. The FM reviewed operational readiness and cybersecurity measures, especially for UPI and internet banking. My colleague Prakash Priyadarshi is joining in with the details of this.
The finance minister has held a high-level meeting with the banks, insurance companies and other financial institutions such as CERT-IN, RBI, IRDI, NPCI. Some important issues are there which have been reviewed by the finance minister, and the most important was cybersecurity measures and the cybersecurity preparedness. Along with that, some other important issues have also been discussed and reviewed by the finance minister amid ongoing tension with Pakistan at the border. Along with that, the finance ministry has come out with a statement which says that the finance minister has reviewed the cybersecurity preparedness, internet banking and UPI operations, including cash management system. In addition to that, banks and insurance companies have advised the finance minister about the steps they have taken so far. Along with that, bank officials have also said that the security operations center and network operations centers are fully operational. The finance minister has directed all banks to remain fully alert and prepared to deal with any emergency or crisis-like situation. Priority must be given to seamless cash availability at ATMs, uninterrupted UPI and internet banking services. Banks were also asked to coordinate with the relevant security agencies in any such crisis-like situation, or issues should be addressed at a real-time basis. That's an important development coming in and holds very important significance amid rising tension with Pakistan, where the government is trying to ensure uninterrupted banking and other financial services to the consumer.
Right, moving on then, the debris of Pakistan's aircraft was also recovered in Adipur near Bhuj, serving as proof of the escalated drone attacks. Arunil is now joining us with a ground report on that.
At present, I'm reporting from Adipur. It is around an hour's distance from the strategically important town of Bhuj. You can see a debris of a drone is being recovered from here. There are details of the drone also that has been thoroughly studied by the FSL team over here. The numbers mentioned over here, my video journalist Sachin Yeram is showing you all the details. This is basically the tire of the drone. On this also number is been properly mentioned. Everything has been meticulously studied by the FSL team. This can be seen as a concrete evidence against Pakistan, which can be produced in the international court as well. On the Saturday morning itself, more than 6 such drones have been intercepted and neutralized on the western border of Gujarat. Mainly the Kutch district of Gujarat is been heavily targeted by such drone attacks from the Pakistan side. This is the location where the drone exactly capsized. We spoke to the locals in Adipur as well. They mentioned about the aspect that how a helicopter-like object they noticed while doing their morning walk, and then it capsized in this vegetation ground in Adipur. This is not very far from the civilian locality as well. Only 100 meters from here is the Tolani College. There is a massive civilian locality only 100 meters from here. But thankfully this drone, which was neutralized by the Indian Air Force, it capsized in this vegetation ground and it didn't lead to any damage to life or to property as well. I am basically Arunil Sadarekar reporting from Adipur, around 50 kilometers from Bhuj, with my video journalist Sachin Yeram for Times Now.
Right. Also, India is acting in a very responsible manner while Pakistan is trying to create panic, according to retired Brigadier Vinod Dutta, defense expert. Let's go across and listen in to what else he had to say about two countries' defense stance and the capabilities.
India always follows no first use, but we have a credible deterrence. And you have seen, you see their drones, I mean, most of them are of cosmetic value. They have very less explosive content. So they're trying to create panic among, Indian population. Whereas the attacks which have been launched by India or the retaliation which has been done by India, you will realize that it is, very effective. It is not for any show. It is for effect. We have, some of their airfields are in state of disuse. They have lost some of the, aircrafts and assets. So all these factors, they show that India is, acting in a very mature manner. India doesn't want any kind of war-like situation. And India has given enough warning. 35 to 36 years we have been into, this, facing terrorism. And Pakistan was always, having the last laugh. Now India has decided, and the way we have struck, and these things will be repeated. And we have told Pakistan that this far, no further. And we are not going to accept anything as far as terrorism is concerned.
Right. Also, the G7 nations have issued a joint statement urging maximum restraint from both India and Pakistan, and the foreign ministers of Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the UK, the US and the EU condemning the egregious attack and warned that any military escalation would endanger regional stability. The group expressed a deep concern for civilian safety on both sides and called for an immediate de-escalation. They encouraged direct dialogue between New Delhi and Islamabad to achieve a peaceful and a lasting resolution. The G7 continues to closely monitor developments in the region. And the White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt confirmed that US is actively engaged in efforts to mediate rising tensions between India and Pakistan. Trump has expressed a strong desire to see the situation de-escalate quickly, citing his personal rapport with the leaders of both nations. Meanwhile, the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has been in constant communication with both sides and spoke to Pakistan's Army Chief Asim Munir earlier. Let's go across and listen into what Levitt had to say about it.
The president has expressed he wants to see this de-escalate as quickly as possible. He understands these are two countries that have been at odds with one another for decades, long before President Trump was here in the Oval Office. However, he has good relationships with the leaders of both countries, and the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, I spoke to him just yesterday. He has been in constant communication with the leaders of both countries, trying to bring this conflict to an end.
China has also issued a statement expressing deep concerns over the escalation. Beijing is urging both sides to exercise restraint, avoid further provocation and return to dialogue through peaceful political statement, calling regional stability a matter of fundamental interest. China says it is willing to play a constructive role in diffusing the crisis, a sentiment echoed by the broader international community watching the conflict very closely. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of News Now. I'll take your leave. Thank you so much. But stay tuned for more updates on ET Now.